Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles in this episode for you. All the URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience. The first one is off of BizPac Review, and it says, Angry nonprofits fighting Trump's budget cuts fail to mention something. $179 million something. Nonprofit groups that criticize President Donald Trump's proposed budget cuts failed to mention the nearly $179 million in EPA grants, and that's the Environmental Protection Agency, they've received since 2009, according to a Daily Caller News Foundation investigative group. Analysis of data. The agency has funded thousands of such groups since former President Barack Obama's 2009 inauguration, but the DCNF focused only on 6 of the largest nonprofit recipients in its analysis of grant data compiled by the watchdog Open the Books. This chart here shows Senior Service of America, and the other side is the EPA funding between, and it kind of cuts off, so I can't give you the whole thing, but it says EPA funding between January the 1st of 2009 and March the 20th, and I can't read the year because it trails off here. And it looks like it's 82,500,000. National Rural Water Association and affiliates got 36,100,000. The American Association for the Advancement of Science got 18,070,000. American Lung Association and affiliates got 16,200,000. Environmental Council of the States got 13,660,000. The Nature Conservancy and affiliates got 11,000,000. And the table is courtesy of Ethan Barton from the Daily Caller News Foundation. It's also received additional funding from other federal agencies across the government. It's possible some or all of these groups will see their federal funding slashed or eliminated altogether if Trump's budget proposal is approved. The 6 nonprofits have varying missions and represent EPA's widespread use of taxpayer funds to advance the environmental agency's legislative, public relations, and regulatory agenda. For example, the largest recipient, Senior Service of America Incorporated, provides low-paying jobs to senior citizens. Not surprising, budget cuts would be absolutely devastating. Senior Service America researcher manager Bob how's that pronounced? Haruian told NBC News on March the 16th the group has taken more than $533 million from federal agencies, including EPA, since 2009, mostly through a Department of Labor program Trump has proposed to eliminate. 99.6% of Senior Service America's revenue in 2015 was government funded, according to the group's 990 tax. The remaining 5 groups analyzed advocate for aggressive EPA regulatory action to ensure clean water, clean air, conservative and conservation, and support for environmental science research. They, like Senior Service of America, railed against Trump's proposed budget cuts, but they had received millions in federal funding. Public health a priority, it places the health and safety of all Americans at risk. American Lung Association President and CEO Harold P. Wormer claimed in a statement, for example, Wimmer listed ways he believed the budget cuts would hurt the country, but hid the fact that his organization and its local affiliates have taken $16.3 million in EPA funding since Obama's inauguration, the DCNF's analysis. The remaining 4 nonprofits made similar criticisms while neglecting to publicize their financial stake in the budget cuts. It's likely that state agencies, typically among the largest EPA grant recipients, gave the nonprofits and their state and regional affiliates additional funds, which were not included in the DCNF's analysis. The American Lung Association of the Southwest, for example, received just over $386,000 from the federal agencies in fiscal year, but the group reported that it received more than $1.9 million in government grants, according to its 990 tax form, meaning more than $1.5 million likely came from grants. It would be nearly impossible to calculate how many non-federal government grants were awarded to groups and their dozens of affiliates. The Environmental Council of the States, an association of state environmental agencies chiefs, and a recipient of nearly $13.7 million from EPA, even addressed concerns over the cuts to state agencies. The core state programmatic grants are untenable. President and Minnesota Pollution Control Agency Commissioner John Link Stein said in a statement, of the states also published a report on March 15th showing states operate 96% of federal environmental programs, and the EPA provides 27% of the funds for state environmental agency budgets on average. Stein didn't mention the nearly $13.7 million her organization took in EPA grants. Our concern with the president's budget cuts to an EPA grant program that awards funds to state and tribal environmental agencies. The council's executive director, Alexandra Dunn, told the DCNF, adding that the council only receives from that program. We do not know how our funding will be affected going forward, she continued. American Association for the Advancement of Science CEO Rush Holt said like many nonprofit organizations, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, AS, receives funding from a variety of sources, including philanthropic sources, federal agencies, publishing revenue, and membership dues to advance educational and public activities. AS is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that has worked for 169 years to advance science and serve society, speak on issues that may impede the advancement of science to benefit all people. The article is off of BizPac Review. This one says, IRS policy that allowed targeting Tea Party is still in effect, Watchdog finds. Democratic policy that allowed IRS officials to target conservative and Tea Party tax exemption applicants during the 2010 and 2012 election campaigns, meaning the same abuses may be continuing, according to a nonprofit government watchdog. Tax agency's policy requires IRS officials to stop processing tax-exempt applications that are likely to attract congressional attention, the Cause of Action Institute said in a report made public on Wednesday. The policy also directs IRS officials to prepare sensitive case reports for their supervisors and to ignore the merits of the application if it involved a newsworthy topic, and is IRS's policy not a violation of it, noting that the policy is still in place. As a result, American taxpayers are at the risk of similar treatment in the future. In halting the application, preparing such reports, and referring the matter to supervisors, including political appointee, IRS employees behaved exactly as dictated, the report continued. The IRS delayed hundreds of applications from conservative and Tea Party groups beginning in 2010. A federal court recently ruled the IRS is still targeting groups using the policy. Automatically politicizes the process in an attempt to avoid potential embarrassment, according to the report. Partisan officials can use the vague and open-ended policy to selectively delay and obstruct those applications receiving higher scrutiny, the officials accountable for their decisions. Issues that attract media or congressional attention and reliance on such a um, criterion means that the process itself cannot avoid partisan bias, the report continued. Employees could delay tax-exempt applications after watching a single TV news story. Cincinnati-based IRS tax specialist Jack Coaster referred a Tea Party group's tax-exempt application to a supervisor 1 year after the Tea Party rallies began. She called it a patient zero for forthcoming problems. The application was passed up the chain of command until supervisors determined to hold it until Washington managers decided how to proceed. The same procedure was followed in numerous Tea Party applications that followed, the report said. The high-level decision on how to proceed would not come for several years. Cause of Action Institute noted that it was consistent. While the original case was passed around among managers, concern about media attention, the report said, 5 separate levels of management cited that concern specifically, including the reference to potential embarrassment, while no mention at all was made of workload concerns, novel, or other similar rationales. The targeting became more elaborate and the agency created be on the lookout list, ordering officials to hold all Tea Party or Patriot applications. Regardless, the IRS hasn't changed its policy even after an Inspector General report, 5 in-depth congressional reports, and extensive news coverage, 7 years after the targeting scandal began. The rule that enabled this inexcusable behavior still exists, the report said. The rule is removed from the internal manual used by all IRS employees. Targeting of political opponents is a very real threat. Cause of Action Institute noted that the IRS has the authority to change its policy without legislation. Criticism the IRS has received regarding its targeting practices, it is hard to believe the agency has not yet taken the steps to the problem, the report said. Next article is off BizPac Review. And it says, that's not okay. After school's lessons called Trump Hitler, Mussolini. A lesson in a New York high school that included President Donald Trump in curriculum on fascism and Adolf Hitler. A group of moms in Saratoga Springs, calling themselves the Conservative Chicks, are fighting back against what they are calling radical left-wing indoctrination, according to Todd Starnes. And there's a tweet in here where writes, school lesson compares Trump to Hitler, Mussolini, Todd Starnes. She's put the article of Starnes in this tweet. It says a 10th grade teacher at the school, the rise of fascism during the World War II by referencing Trump, but according to Marnie Mezit, with Fox and Friends Wednesday, this was a school-wide presentation. And there's video on this if you want to watch it. The lesson plan was posted on the school district's website, but has since been hidden by password protection. Teaching about fascism as a political movement in the context of World War II is part of the curriculum. Superintendent Mike Picarolo defending the curriculum and pointing out that students were shown cartoons of Trump to debate whether the comparisons were fair or accurate. On answer Starnes' question on whether the teacher informed the students that the comparisons were not, in fact, accurate. According to Starnes, a lesson graphic on the website showed early warning signs of fascism, including nationalism, obsession with national security, government intertwined, rampant sexism, fraudulent elections, obsession with crime and punishment. Mother and co-founder of Conservative Chicks, Julie Telstone, was angry that the school board did not address the lesson or the national attention to the story received in its meeting Tuesday night. Spoken of the national coverage and the apparent concern over comparing our president to brutal dictators who are responsible for killing millions of people, Telstone said. That's not okay. That was off of BizPack Review. And Barr. She says every single attack on POTUS is really a disguised attack on American voters. Barr defended President Trump on Twitter, saying every attack against him is an attack on the American voter. Every single attack on POTUS is really a disguised attack on American voters who rejected Obama, Clinton, Bush's bleeding of the Treasury, Barr tweeted. Not say which attack she was specifically referring to in her tweet, but the mainstream media assaults against Trump. Barr is not a conservative, but she is an avowed patriot who wants what's best for the United States. Accordingly, she has increasingly spoke out because she believes Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have damaged the country with their leftist open borders globalist agenda. 2016, Roseanne Barr, who voted for herself for president, got a personal thank you note from Donald Trump when she defended him during the campaign. AR News tweeted out, actress Roseanne Barr goes off on Hillary Clinton, gets a personal thank you from Donald Trump. The three-time Golden Globe winner has since continued to speak out on his behalf and on behalf of policies that she believes will protect and help the United States. Roseanne's Twitter followers agreed with her statement that attacking Trump and the 63 million Americans who voted him into office. Series of tweets here if you want to pull them up and take a look at those. The next article I have is off of BizPack Review. A lawmaker who compared ICE to Nazis calls rape story of 14-year-old race baiting. Watch Tucker pounce. Tucker Carlson body slammed a liberal lawmaker who compared immigration officers to Nazis. Disgusted that the Democratic councilman Zeke Cohen is more concerned about protecting illegal aliens than children in his own district. Last week, Cohen sponsored a bill demanding stop enforcing immigration laws in Baltimore. That same week, a 14-year-old girl was brutally raped at a high school in nearby Rockville, Maryland, by two illegal immigrants aged 17 and 18 who had been assigned to her ninth grade class because they couldn't speak English. The sick civilization at war with itself, Carlson said. Cohen, a lawmaker, doesn't want to defend the U.S. immigration laws specifically when they could have prevented the horrific rape against the 14-year-old girl. A welcoming city, Cohen said, before calling Carlson's statement a Willie Horton-style race-baiting dog whistle. Condemned the child rape, but said he's more concerned about the potential harassment illegals face from federal immigration officers. Officers enforcing immigration laws to Nazis in the 1930s Germany. That's when Carlson ripped into Cohen. It's shameful to compare federal immigration officers to Nazis, Carlson said. You're calling fellow American citizens Nazis for enforcing federal laws passed by Congress? Whistle here. Zeke Cohen was slammed on Twitter by people who were astonished that he prioritizes not hurting the feelings of illegal aliens over a child who was viciously raped in his own district. And there's a slew of tweets after that, and none of them are happy. The final one says, as a parent, I'm afraid to have my daughter walk the halls alone. Final article in this episode is off BizPack Review, and it says, snubs Obama, we won't make your birthday into a holiday. The state of Illinois doesn't think the former president's birthday should be a state holiday. The Illinois House was unable to muster the needed votes on Tuesday to designate Obama's August 4th birthday as a state holiday, the Chicago did. The House measures, sponsored by Chicago Democratic Representative Sonia Harper, received 54 votes, 6 votes short of what was needed to move it to the Senate, where Obama served from 1997 to 2004. President Barack Obama, he did great work for the state of Illinois and our country, and I believe we need to do our part preserving that history, Harper said. Wow. Opponents to the proposal were fine with honoring the 44th president, but not keen on the idea of closing schools and government facilities for the day. The concept you are working on here, giving the President Obama a day, I think is deserved. I think it's appropriate, but I have a couple questions about how we're doing it, Representative Steve Anderson says, noting that the February 6th birthday of 40th President and Tampico native Ronald Reagan is not a holiday. The Republican floor leader voiced concern over giving state employees a paid day off in the midst of its current financial crisis. Harper disagreed with the suggestion that the day be simply honorary of a formally recognizing the nation's first African American president and his history as a community organizer in his adopted home of Chicago, according to the Tribune. Personally, to me, he helped me get motivated, get community, and organize my community to be the change that we want to see. And we are seeing it right now on the ground, Harper said. The state has long held Obama in high esteem, and other pending proposals include naming a stretch of Interstate 55 the Barack Obama Presidential Expressway. Another measure proposes calling the state's tri-state tollway the President Barack Obama Tollway. Harper used a parliamentary procedure to allow another vote if she's able to garner enough support at another time. Okay. I can't make this stuff up. That's the last one in this episode. I have a couple more episodes for you this morning. Doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to enjoy this entertainment. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Stay informed.